Comeca family, welcome back for another edition of the Comeca Connection. Now, this week we're talking all about purpose. What is our purpose and why should we do what we do? Now, in the Bible, it talks a lot about what we should be doing, how we should do it, and it gives us a bunch of rules, regulations, things like that. And I want to start out this week talking about a story in the Bible because that's another way we learn, why and how we should do things. And so this week, we're going to start out with the story of Jonathan. Now, I should give you a few details about Jonathan before we start. Jonathan was the son of Saul, who was the first king of Israel, and he had 4 other siblings. He's best known for his friendship with David, which think David and Goliath. And the last thing you should know is that Jonathan, so the meaning of Jonathan is actually the Lord has given, which is a really fitting thing because Jonathan was this great warrior and he was strong, and he won a lot of battles, but he was mostly known for his friendship with David and being kind. Now, I want you guys to go ahead, grab your Bible. I'll give you 3 seconds. And flip to 1 Samuel chapter 14. And we're just going to dive into the first part of this because it's a good story and there's a lot to go over. And so today we're just going to get into the first few verses of this, and then we're actually going to come back tomorrow and finish it out. Now, the first part of it goes like this. 1 Samuel chapter 14, and it says, "Now it happened one day that Jonathan, the son of Saul, said to the young man who bore his armor, 'Come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side.' But he did not tell his father. And Saul was sitting in the outskirts of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron. The people who were with him were about 600 men. Ahijah, the son of Ichabod's brother, and the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, was wearing an ephod. Now the people did not know that Jonathan had gone. Between the passes by which Jonathan sought to go over to the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of one was Bezos, and the name of the other was Sina. The front of one faced northward opposite Mishmash, and the other southward opposite Gibeah. Then Jonathan said to the young man who bore his armor, 'Come, let us go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for nothing restrains the Lord from saving by many or by few.'" So we're going to kind of get into some of that context. Now, this chapter starts off by saying, "Now it happened one day." It starts that by saying one day, and it doesn't really sound like, oh, it was this day and it was something incredible. It was kind of an unremarkable remark. It was just saying, oh, one day it happened. And it also kind of relates that Jonathan could have woken up that day and done something that was comfortable. He could have just stayed in bed, snuggled up, and been like, you know what, I don't want to go out today. I just want to hang out at camp. But he decided to grab his armor bearer and go out and go over to the Philistines. The next point that it comes up to is saying that he didn't tell his father. So Jonathan didn't talk to his dad when he was going over. And when we don't tell our parents something, it's normally because we already know the answer. Jonathan knew the same by not going to his father Saul, knowing that he would probably have been told no. And it's interesting to say that Saul was sitting on the outskirts with his 600 men, his 600 warriors, and he didn't know that Jonathan had left. He hadn't known already. And so then the story goes back and it goes on to continue to say that Jonathan is talking to his armor bearer, and he's all about crossing these jagged rocks, and Jonathan again says to him, "Come, let us go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be the Lord will work for us, for nothing restrains the Lord from saving by many or few." And in 14:6, when it really dives into that, so that was 14:6 I just read, it's interesting to account that God doesn't need a large number of people to do his bidding. He doesn't need the strongest or the smartest or the best looking. He just needs you to trust in him. Remember the first week that we started this series, that was all about trust. And God's asking us to trust in him, and Jonathan knows this. And Jonathan is somebody that trusts in the Lord. He knows that the Lord will have his back when he goes over to the Philistines. And he says this to his armor bearer. And I also think this is just such an awesome showing of trust. And when you're feeling isolated and small, trust in Him that He will work and do great things for you. The armor bearer says, the very last part, so his armor bearer says to him, do all that is in your heart, go then, here I am with you according to your heart. And it's just to wrap it up that if we trust in the Lord through these circumstances, He's going to have our back, especially in a moment of great difficulty. Now, we're going to get into the second half of this tomorrow, and so make sure you listen in at 10 a.m. Thanks again. We'll see you guys tomorrow.